All right, so as usual, we're going to start off with our dad jokes. Now, if you recall, the object is to do the joke, say it off, and not laugh, which we did too good of a job, I think, last week. Maybe our dad jokes aren't as funny as we thought they were.
Would you like to go first?
Yeah, yeah. So mine this week is, hey, do you want to hear the first rule of passive aggressive club?
Yes.
No, you know what? Forget it. You won't even like it. It's fine.
That's pretty good. I like that. What did the avocado say when it got nervous?
I don't know.
I have a pit in my stomach.
That is a good one though. And avocados are delicious.
Yeah, the delivery was terrible. It was awful.
Yeah, we were working on it. You know,
and we don't do multiple takes. We're not redoing it.
For the November. And you see, we're in a different location here today. We had to adjust. We're always like on the move. We're on the fly. We change things.
Luckily,
we're flexible.
Wherever you go, there's either a first home or a hometown real estate office nearby.
Everywhere. So we're in good shape. So
like
we're
McDonald's.
New spots right here. We're all set. And we're already in November, which happened quick. It was just January, and now boom, November. So that's good.
Are you a fresh cranberry or canned cranberry guy?
Neither. I pass on both.
Oh, gosh.
I'm more of a pass the ham, eat more ham guy.
I'm a green bean casserole #1.
Yeah, that's the only time I eat green beans. You're right. Yes, so they throw other crap in there, so it makes it taste good.
That's right.
It disguises the terrible flavor of green beans.
Right.
Now we're moving into positive news because it's Thanksgiving, everything's awesome. So I know for sure, I saw you recently post that something that we kind of anticipated a little bit, and that the rates are starting to head back down in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on YouTube and you dig deep enough, you can find some doomsday people that thought rates were going to go to 10% and that there was going to be some huge housing bubble. Of course, this year's been tough for affordability, because housing prices aren't going down. You compare that with the higher interest rates. It is tough, especially for a first-time home buyer or somebody that only has one income, but we have some relief coming, which would be that, mortgage interest rates are improving. We are sort of beneath some really important technical levels that we struggled to get underneath from a mortgage bond perspective, which shows that there is some room to run, and we really don't see any really bad news that could happen in the future that could reverse this trend. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to see an improvement in mortgage rates, and maybe it's not super significant, but it's enough for that spring market to have a lot of activity.
And that's what we kind of anticipated. You and I, if you've been following, you've been hearing us say the same thing, that we kind of anticipate this trend couldn't last forever. We're in the 7s and 8s, and it's just, it's not feasible. It's not good for the economy. It's not good for the society. It's just not good. Right. And that at some point that things are going to shift back, and we're starting to see that. You and I, before camera went on, we're saying that we'd love to see things like in the high 5s. We don't know if it'll be there, but that wouldn't be too unreasonable to think high 5s. Maybe 5.5s if we're super awesome, but
what happens if rates get to that level?
You get people hopping back out because there's a lot of people on the fence right now. A lot of folks that were waiting, and they're like, I want to find something. There's a lot of, and this happens every year actually. You get a lot of people once you hit like October-ish, they kind of just wait it out. Those are the people that take their time, do the research, don't make aggressive offers, and we always have that group of people that are just super slower, and a little bit slower, and more conservative, and they want to make the right decisions, and they usually carry over to the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what we can envision is if there's an improvement in interest rates, even if it's 0.5 or 0.75%, that's probably significant enough for more buyers to get interested. And then we have our natural spring market. I mean, there's a pragmatic reason why there's a spring market every year. It's because you get through the new year, you wait until maybe the weather warms up a little bit. You take the first couple months to get your house cleaned up and ready, and then have the ability to have some curb appeal. So that's always going to be there in some form or fashion, even in a slow year. Couple that with an improvement in interest rates, there's going to be a lot of buyer activity, and there's going to be these people that are sitting in these homes knowing they don't want to remain there and go, okay, I can trade 3% for 5.5. I wasn't trading 3 for 7.5. But I can make that move because money's a little bit more affordable now. So you have all these different factors that show that we could have a lot of activity in the spring.
And I have a lot of clients, and I'm sure you as well, that have recently had like things like children, right? And we've had things like children growing up, needing more space, needing more yard, different schools. We have a lot of these things that are starting to take place, and they're just that group of people is just kind of waiting. They're sitting there waiting. Like you said, seven and a halves didn't appeal to them. They'll make things work. They'll put two kids in one bedroom. They'll do the things.
Yeah.
But then once we get to five and a half, they're like, you know what? I've got this equity now because the value of my house leapt up. Didn't even, and that part's not going to change.
It will not.
That value is that value. So they have that equity. They're like, all right, cool. I've got 50, 60, 100,000 now laying around, and the rates are 5.5. I'm gonna go out there and do it now. We're gonna see that in the spring. I hope and think.
So the last Fed rate hike was in July, and it's a foregone conclusion that that's done. They're not going to hike anymore. So now the conversation is, when are they going to cut rates? It's probably going to align with a recession, but again, if they cut rates and they start going in the opposite direction, and that makes all other borrowing a little bit cheaper, auto loans, credit cards, personal loans, all that type of stuff, and then it gets cheaper for the American consumer, that's another factor that will push people into the housing market. Like, look, our expenses are finally going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Inflation's coming down. Eggs and milk and stuff like that is cheaper. I think I can make this leap and afford to buy my first house or second house or whatever. So all these factors are aligning to hopefully a great spring market.
Yep. And then don't be afraid of the word recession. I know you use the word recession. Most people have that automatic like panic. A recession just means a decline in finances. What is it? A 6-month period? 3-month period?
Well,
3 month.
Two consecutive negative GDPs is the definition of a recession.
And that's not terrible. That's not like life changing. It's just
no. And historically speaking, every single recession we've ever seen, except for the 2008 bubble, that's the only time that housing prices or housing values went in the opposite direction. Every other recession historically, housing values have remained either flat or increased, and mortgage rates have improved. So if you're somebody that's looking to purchase a house or sell a house, recession isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Okay. We want to make sure we dispel that, because I know people, when they hear the word recession, automatically go the wrong direction.
So. Well, it makes sense because that 2008 housing crisis is still so fresh in a lot of people's minds. I was in college, so I was a little bit unaware at the time, and then I learned about the impact of it when I got into this industry. But that's still fresh in people's minds. But you almost have to throw that out because there were so many other ancillary factors.
Unethical.
Correct.
Unethical on levels we'll never see again.
Correct.
So,
yes.
All right. So the rate's doing good. It's excellent. We're also seeing that rent is still staying really high. So it's going to be a coupling of rates coming back down to normal, rent staying really, really high, and I think we're going to see a nice little improvement here.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing out there available for rent. So again, I tend to speak about Calvert County because that's where we live and work.
But it applies to all of Southern Maryland.
Really, all of Southern Maryland. All the same factors. Limited inventory for purchasing because there's not a lot of new builds for replacement inventory. The people that are here aren't going anywhere, generally speaking. And the rental market's very thin. So all of that lines up to the fact that it's going to be very competitive for the foreseeable future. I don't see anything changing. But
now it's still a good time. Hopefully, if you have it or you're thinking about getting into it, still try to get it pre-approved. Do all the numbers and do it based on these high rates. So that way, when the rates go down, you'll be in a more comfortable position. So I always tell my folks, especially that are getting like raises and things, well, let's do all our numbers, do everything based off of your pre-raise numbers.
Yes.
So that way, when you get that raise, cool, you can do some extra fun things. You can go take that trip to Disney. You can do whatever you want to do because we planned well in advance and we lowballed all the things that's going to happen in your life. So
absolutely,
we're gonna keep those trends going.
Yeah. The other thing I'm excited about, along with great spring market, improving interest rate, Christmas party.
Oh yeah, it's your favorite. You love Mullies. We're doing Mullies again. Yeah. So be on your lookout because there's gonna be invites sent to all the good people, all the cool kids. Get invites.
My dad asked about it recently. Shout out, Dad.
Yes.
He said, "Are you doing Salmon's Mully Christmas party this year?" It means that he is planning on being there.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're gonna have quite a decent little group. And Mully's just expanded. I don't know where they're going to put us. They put us in wherever they feel like, but we'll have space. And so it'll be over in the brewer section where they have all the lights and the cool things going on for the holidays, or it'll be over in the new section, or who knows?
Wherever
they want us.
We will be there.
We'll be there. And then, we'll have a kids art table. My son Keegan loves, he actually picks all the stuff for the kids art table. I just give him a Amazon carte blanche to do whatever he wants to buy. And so he's in charge of all that. He'll do it again this year. So all the stuff will be at least kid friendly.
You gotta be careful with that. Hey, Keegan, why did you buy an Amazon Switch or a Nintendo Switch on Amazon with all these little
It
crabs?
needs to go through an approval process,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it gets all the selected, goes into the cart, and from the cart we kind of make the
There you
decisions.
go.
Yeah,
That's the way to be.
it's an executive. All right, cool, sir. I appreciate your help again. November, what you got family for Thanksgiving? Fun stuff.
We always do the same thing. Go to my in-laws, stay
Cool.
the night, just gorge myself on Thursday, and then Friday is tree farm day. We go cut down our Christmas tree.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Yep, same, very much the same. And then we have our vendor event on Sunday. So,
Yes, I will be there.
so we have a lot of stuff going on around the holidays. Trying to keep things moving. Trying to do a lot more charity and donating stuff because that event fuels Project Echo.
Hmm.
So we are ramping up the charity stuff this time of year because it's always the better time. We're always in the mood. You always have that sense of giving and so forth. But
It's the time of year where you feel compelled. Not that you don't feel compelled other times, but it just exudes.
you know what part of it is too? I know in real estate, like things do naturally slow down a little bit this time of year, so you get to stop and like start thinking of others a little more,
Yes,
which
absolutely.
is an odd way of saying it. I mean, but in August and July, you're running around doing all the real estate, the work, the family trips. So let's say you don't have as much time. This time of year, you can stop and think about it a little bit better.
Just think, in a month, we'll be doing another video the day before the Christmas party, which would be cool.
Yeah, folks, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Think about all the things you're thankful for, such as a good lender. And we'll see you again right before the Christmas party. Tim, thanks for your time today.
Happy Thanksgiving.